Real quick before we even get into this video, the first thing I do want to say is thank you modders, because at least on my end it's been less than 24 hours and already modders have done more for Starfield in 24 hours and in little mod packages that are less than megabytes in most cases, and have done wonderful things to actually fix the game. There are legitimately a lot of good mods out right now for Starfield, despite it being, again, less than 24 hours of me making this video, at least. So, holy crap. Modding community, rise up. Y'all managed to do what Bethesda and Microsoft couldn't. And it's also amazing considering the size of the updates Microsoft and Bethesda was putting out for Starfield, which got into the 30 to 40 gigabytes sometimes. I think we also had an update that was close to 60 gigabytes once, which, geez, I don't understand how the equivalent of indie developers working by themselves on tiny-ass, non-professional grade desktops are managing to do better than, whole studios and massive companies that have so many employees that they rival small countries. I don't know how we managed to pull that one off in the year 2024, but hey, stuff happens, man. But other than the modders doing great and me loving the modders, we all love the modders, they are really great people. Yeah, Bethesda and Microsoft somehow once again managed to put out a completely useless update, despite this update being arguably the thing that's probably going to save Starfield. What do I mean by that? Well, despite this game desperately needing actual DLC, actual story content, and mind you, we've known about this for a while, we've always known this was gonna happen, yada yada yada, it was inevitable, they did it with Skyrim, they did it with Fallout, of course they were gonna do it with Starfield, but I really figured we would get the first story DLC, or any kind of DLC, before we got Creation Club. Why do we have Creation Club this early for a game that is so empty? I really don't know, honestly. And well, on the bright side of all of this, though, despite the emptiness, we still have space and all that to explore, and Bethesda managed to do something actually smart for once, believe it or not. They put in a lovely thing called observatories. Yes, that's right. The things we actually use to mostly view space in real life, finally in our space exploration game. Now, this is something I've been personally wanting for a while, and I imagine a few others have been wanting. I mean, it's a space exploration game. We can go on planets, build these somewhat big bases, and it's like all these different solar systems, and we only have so many limited ways to observe it. You know, you have the option of viewing it from the planet you're sitting on, you have the option of going into your ship, and then there's the third option of, which isn't even technically an option, you have to technically break the game to do this. Well, air quotes, this ain't breaking the game, it's a thing that you can do normally. You have to use console commands, and then boot yourself out of your own ship, and then boost pack around and all that happy jazz. There's not just a lot of ways to explore space, and it's kinda ass, you know. We need more ways to actually see what we're playing, and so I was actually happy when I saw they put in these observatories, and hey, it's some of the few Creation Club content that is free. Now again, it's not just Creation Club content that got launched here, mods were also launched, we addressed that earlier. But please note, I'm not completely bashing the game here in this instance. When I say this, yeah, the observatories do nothing. The observatories do absolutely nothing. They are literally just they are literally just models that you place. I have tried, I don't know why I tried for 30 minutes. I was convinced my game was broken at first, but I tried for 30 minutes, got nothing to work, obviously, because it doesn't work, there's nothing there. And then I go onto the lovely old internet, and yeah, hundreds of people are literally saying the same thing I am right now. Bethesda, Bethesda, Microsoft, micro lover of a less than a foot long. Why? It's so simple. Space exploration game. We should have telescopes and observatories we can use. Huh. Crazy concept. Who would have figured? You know, it sounds like something that should have been in the game at launch, but no, once again we had to wait and wait and wait, and now it's here. Now it doesn't do anything. And now we get to look at the nothing even more so. And also when you get on the inside of this thing, it's so bland to the point where it's boring. I imagine you're supposed to put your own items in here and all that stuff too. You know, the usual Bethesda excuse of, oh, we don't want to design actual models for our goddamn game. And honestly, now that I really think about it, considering all the assets you would have ever needed, this camera really hates me. Yeah, I wasn't going to acknowledge it, but my camera legitimately is glitching out. Either that or my computer itself is glitching out. I don't know what's doing this, so enjoy all that. But, like Bethesda, the assets are already in-game. We see it when we fly through space in our ships. Would it have been that hard to apply that, but with a telescopic lens? You know, basically just a filter. I guess so. I really guess so. But you know, overall, much like my camera quality always, and even more so today, Bethesda is usually expected to be that low-end studio that just gives us a giant sandbox to mod the shit out of. Which is genuinely a shame because, don't know if you remember Oblivion, but Oblivion was fucking great. I don't know if you remember Skyrim. It was pretty weird at launch, you know, it had a few bugs and all that stuff, but overall everything was pretty enjoyable. And you see, I wanted to say the same thing about Starfield, but, unlike those other games, but Bethesda didn't put in a bunch of useless updates for those games. Shit actually got somewhat fixed for those games. Bethesda didn't, but overall at this point, I guess the only thing I can say is, hey modders, if you want a free mod that you could do probably pretty easily, and it would be as simple as using the already in-game assets and then putting a filter over it, yeah, make the observatory usable. Please do that. Please. And, modders, while you're also at it, please mod in a will to live in the game. Please mod in a spectrum of understanding of why Bethesda is so fucking stupid. Anything to justify this game not being as half-baked as it is, but you know what? Hey, we got the actual developers in this time. You know how it is, right? Like, we have the guys who make the sandbox, and then we have the people who actually develop the sandbox, you know? It's not about the size of the sandbox that made it great, it's about what's in the sandbox. You remember as a kid how you could build only shitty slopes and shit like that, and then this one guy could make amazing fucking castles? That's essentially what's happening here. The slopes are Bethesda, the castles are the modders. So hey, we got the real development team in finally. I am really confident we are going to get some solid results out of the new development team. In fact, I am very confident these indie developers will do better than Bethesda ever will with Starfield. In fact, I am confident that we will probably get an actual campaign finally. Man, I cannot wait. And honestly, hey, maybe we'll get Fallout Earth in Starfield. That would be some crazy. You know what? I believe in it. Power of modders. We got the real development team in. We got the real ones in. We got the OGs in finally. But hey, at least there's some good news in all of this dumb shit, right? There you go. We got some good news. Anyway, I've been Johnny Von Duke. You know what to do. Don't get yourselves killed by raiders. And, maybe just boycott this game in general. I don't know.